Hey, what is up guys? CorsonDrax here, welcome back to another video. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a tier list on game protagonist characters, meaning like the protagonists of that game, like the main character of video games. So like a bunch of main characters, and I'm going to put them on a tier list. Now the tier list is going to be more of like their impact on gaming as well as my own personal opinion, kind of like mix the two together to see where they come on my tier list anyway. But yeah, we're just gonna jump right in, I guess. Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of don't know. Like, I've got a lot of characters on here that are in the don't know section. Now, don't get mad at me if, like, oh, there's someone you know on there. Like, and some of them I've seen before, I just don't know the names or recognize a lot of the people in this don't know section right here. Like, not sure what the majority of these. I think I know. I've seen this character. I just forget what game he's from or who he is. But like, if I don't know the character that well, then they're gonna end up in here. Obviously, I can recognize a few of these from somewhere. I just don't know the character, so I'm gonna leave them in the don't know section for now, and then we'll get into our tier list. All right. So the first person we have is Marth. Now, Marth is a pretty big character. Obviously, Fire Emblem, big series he came from. It's more primarily in Japan where Fire Emblem's like a big thing. But for me personally, I don't think he's had that much of an impact on gaming, like in my opinion. Like I didn't know about him from Fire Emblem. I know about him because of Smash. Like without Smash, I probably wouldn't know who he is. Obviously, he's really big in Japan. Fire Emblem's like a big thing. But for me personally, I can't see him getting more than like C tier for me. Like I'd say, I don't know. He'd be like if I was in Japan, he'd probably crack like B. But even then, I feel like he can only really hit C tier because S tier is like big impact on gaming, and it's my opinion too, kind of mixed of the two. But yeah. All right, then we got Pit from Kid Icarus. Again, same thing, really big game. It's actually, I think Kid Icarus might actually be bigger here than Fire Emblem here anyway. I don't know about Japan. I do like Pit though. He's got a pretty interesting personality opposed to Marth in my opinion. But I'd say probably the same rank. I mean, I feel like for B you have to be like you have to be like you show someone that character and they'll say, yeah, I know who that is, type of thing. So yeah, I'm gonna leave Pit in C as well. Alright, next we have Wii Fit Trainer. Obviously from Wii Fit. They also appeared in Smash. I'm gonna be real, like this character doesn't really belong outside of like I'm gonna go F. I know that might be a bit low, but it's not really an iconic game character. Like Wii Fit, you play to get fit. You don't play for like the character or anything. It's in Smash, but you can't really get mad at me for that one. All right, next we have Little Mac from the Punch Out series. Now Little Mac's pretty good. Punch Out was a big thing back in the day. Don't know if it's as big now, but you know he made it into Smash. He's in that game, but you know he is a pretty cool character. He's got a good personality. I'd say he's also in the C tier for me personally. Like I don't think he's had that big of an impact. So I'm gonna put him there with Martha and Pit just for now. All right, now we have Inkling. Now if Inkling has been around longer, it'd probably be A or like A or S tier. But because it's too new of a character, like it kind of just happened. Like Splatoon's a pretty new thing, so. And I don't know, like the Inkling doesn't really have that much of personality. Like they don't talk, obviously. Like it's kind of just like sounds. But the game is huge. So far it's had a really big impact on gaming. But I'm gonna say B tier for now. Like I'm not gonna go A yet. Maybe after like a few years, it could probably get A tier, or maybe even S tier later on. But no, for now we're gonna be putting Inkling in B tier. All right, next we have Sonic the Hedgehog. Now Sonic is a huge part of gaming. No one can deny that. When it comes to personality, he probably beats Mario too. Like Mario's obviously huge. Everyone knows him. Like even if you're not a gamer, you know who Mario is. But Sonic, I feel like personality-wise, would be above Mario. So Sonic has had a big impact. It's a big part of my childhood. Obviously, recent Sonic games are but I think overall Sonic is an iconic character, and I think Sonic probably cracks S tier for me. Just for me, I don't think many people can disagree with that. All right, now we have Bayonetta from those R-rated Bayonetta games. Now, again, I didn't know about Bayonetta till Smash Bros, and I know that may sound crazy. I know Bayonetta is a huge game all around the world. I was just never personally too big in it, but I know it has been a pretty big part of gaming culture. So, I don't know, I'd say Bayonetta's probably. I'm gonna say B tier as well. Like I don't think Bayonetta is good enough to hit A tier yet, but I'm gonna say B tier. Obviously there are bigger characters than both Bayonetta and Inkling, and we'll see when the list continues, but for now, that's what I got. Alright, now we have Mario. Now, no one can deny, obviously, Mario has had the biggest impact on gaming out of, like, anyone on this list. Like, that's not a question. Mario, personality-wise, is, I mean, he doesn't really, like, speak fluent sentences either, but I can't not put him in S tier if Sonic's there. Like, Mario, obviously, one of the biggest, if probably the biggest gaming character of all time, so Mario has to go there too. Just like the amount of games he's had is unreal. Alright, now we have Mega Man. Again, Mega Man is a huge gaming character, similar, he's up there with Mario and Sonic. He's had tons of games, really big back in the day and still pretty big now. But I don't think he's quite S tier. Like, obviously, more people would know Sonic and Mario over him. I'm gonna say A tier, I think that's fair. Like, he's not here, he's not quite there, but I'd say A tier for sure. Alright, now we have Ryu. Big character from Street Fighter. Street Fighter's huge, same with Mortal Kombat. Both big fighting games back in the day and still really big to this day with Nintendo and everything. So yeah, no, Ryu, I think, also deserves a spot on S tier. And yeah, that I'd say that's... In terms of impact, these three definitely beat out everyone else that I've included so far. Now we move on to Pac-Man. I'd say same thing with Mega Man. Like, obviously, Pac-Man's not S tier, because, I mean, he's been around a long time. He's definitely had a big impact. One of the first big video games. But, like, personality-wise, he's not quite... Like, he's had a few... I'd say he's up there with Mega Man. I don't think he's quite S tier. So I'd say, yeah, next to Mega Man. I'd say he's A tier for sure. I don't know if he... I mean, he made it into Smash, obviously. That's not, like, the biggest of him at all, but, like, 1980, he was a huge game, probably one of the biggest classical games of all time, if not the biggest. But I don't think he quite reaches S tier yet. S is for, like, it's, my opinion, as well as, like, impact on gaming itself. Alright, now we have Frogger. Frogger's a big classical game character, but I don't think he's had that much of an impact on gaming. I don't think anyone could tell me I'm wrong in that regard. Like, no one goes, oh, I'm a huge Frogger fan. Like, he's more of just a classic game. Obviously, you see him in arcades, but he's not, like, someone's gonna be like, oh, you want to go play Frogger type of thing. Like, no one's gonna, like, yeah, no, I'd say, I don't know, I'd say he could hit C tier. Like, again, it's the same thing with Little Mac. Like, they're good characters, they haven't done enough to be outside of there yet, so I'm gonna go with a C tier character. Alright, now we have Solid Snake, whatever you want to call him. This is my Smash Bros. Main, obviously. Like, I'm a big fan of Snake. I even played a lot of the Metal Gear Solid games. My favorite Metal Gear Solid games are probably Metal Gear Solid 2 and then the newest one. Like, those are probably there with my favorites. But first, Snake, he's a really huge character. Like, Metal Gear Solid kills it, like, whenever they release a new game. The old games back in the day, they were also really good. He's been around a long time. Snake's a really, like, well-known character. And look, like, obviously I love Snake and I want to put him at S tier, because, like, that's my boy. But compared to Mario, Sonic, and Ryu, I don't think he's quite there. And I know that sounds shocking coming from me. I'm gonna go A tier for sure. Like, he's pretty much, he's, like, in between A and S. I just don't think he's quite S tier. And I feel like if I put him at S tier, I might be being a bit biased. I'm gonna give him A tier for sure, but he's gonna have to do something to get in there. He's, like, right on the line. He's in between A and S, but I'm gonna put him in A for now. Now, a lot of people are probably gonna be really mad at me for this one, but we have Simon Belmont. Now, I'm gonna be real. For me personally, I was never, like, a huge Castlevania fan. I've seen it here and there, but I knew who I've seen him. I wasn't really big on his name. Like, I didn't, like, quite fully get in, like, know what Castlevania was up until Smash Bros. But for me personally, it's a mix of my opinion and impact. I don't think he's above C tier. Like, that might make a lot of people really mad, but just for me personally, I'm not, like, a huge Castlevania fan. I'm sure a lot of people are, but even if you are, I don't think he's up there with, like, Bayonetta or, like, Splatoon or anything. Like, I feel like he's got to be in C tier. Like, if you know him, you know him, but I don't think he can leave C tier. Alright, now we have Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII. Huge character. Like, Cloud has been killing it. Final Fantasy's huge. Like, I don't think not many people don't know who Cloud is. He got into Smash, obviously, back in Smash 4, and he's currently in the new game. But now, like, Final Fantasy is huge. There's no denying that. So, I'm gonna say... I'm gonna say A tier as well. He's with Snake, I'd say. Like Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy, two really huge games, like series or whatever. I don't think he's S tier. He probably same thing. He's like verging S tier on A. He's up there with Snake. I'd say Snake and Cloud are probably very similar in terms of rank. All right, now we have Donkey Kong. Now here's the weird thing. Donkey Kong's obviously huge, big Mario character, but he also has his own series of games. They're not as big as Mario like at all, but Donkey Kong is still huge. Like you know, even if you don't play his games, you know Donkey Kong. Like Donkey Kong's he's a character that kind of goes in line with Mario. Like it's I don't know. I'd say he's A tier for me personally because like with Mega Man, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and then like Snake and Cloud, like I'd say Donkey Kong's there. He can't be S tier because you can't have an S tier character who's with like the main character if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna say he's A tier for sure. All right, now we have Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts again, huge, massive game. Like a lot of people are a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. You know, like the Sora, like the Keyblade and all that. Sora's a huge character. I'd say he's also up there with Cloud, Snake, and all of them. So yeah, I'd say Sora's definitely A tier at least. Again, verging on S tier. Like a lot of the ones in A are almost S. They can't quite hack it yet. But yeah, I'm gonna say Sora's definitely A tier for me. Alright, now we have Crash Bandicoot. Again, really big Nintendo character. He's been seen a lot. Maybe he'll make it into Smash soon. I don't know. The Crash Bandicoot games themselves, though, they're really big. Like he's a really huge piece of gaming history. I don't think he's quite A tier. Like I'd say Sora and Snake and Cloud, they're above Crash, but I'd say Crash is definitely B tier for sure. He might get up to A tier soon, but they got to do something new with him. I feel like for me personally, like Crash is huge. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel like sometimes he's a bit overrated, just in my opinion anyway. But he's definitely B tier for sure. All right, now we have Spyro, and same thing as Crash Bandicoot. I'd say he's up there on the same level. Spyro was actually huge for my childhood personally. Like he was way bigger than Crash for me. Like Spyro obviously from Skylanders, and he had his own like PS4 or not PS4, PlayStation games, as well as like Skylanders. Skylanders was huge for my childhood anyway. But I'm gonna say like obviously he's kind of fallen out recently, but I'd say he's up there on Crash's level. He's definitely B tier for me as well. And they're not talking about like the Skylanders one. Obviously that and the Spyro games are the universes aren't the same. I feel like this is that for that Spyro I'd say B tier for sure. Alright, now we have Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank. That was a really big game for my childhood. I played a lot of it when I was younger. I love those games like on the Wii and all that. But yeah, I'd say he's probably the same. Like I'd say Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Ratchet are all like equal levels for me. Like they're all kind of like I don't know, they're good characters, but they're not like amazing characters, obviously. But I'd say B tier for sure. I think the B list is probably most accurate, like the one that I've put together so far. Obviously, I like the list, but I'd say B looks like really accurate for me. All right, now we have Sly Cooper, and again, I'd say same thing. He's up there with Crash, Spyro, Ratchet, all of them. He's had a lot of cool stealth games like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, or whatever. But yeah, I was never like a huge Sly Cooper fan for me personally. He is definitely huge though. I've checked out his character recently though, and I am a pretty big fan of it. But no, I'd say B. I'd say yeah, Crash, Spyro, Ratchet, and Sly Cooper are all like even levels for me anyway. All right, now we have Kratos, and like, do I even have to say anything? Like Kratos is huge, and like you can ask any gamer, they know who Kratos is. He's probably the closest on this list to S tier that isn't S tier. Like he's A tier for sure, but he's out of everyone on the A list, he's probably closest to S. Like Kratos is huge. He's been huge for a really long time. In like all the games he's appeared in or whatever. I think he's even had like Mortal Kombat cameos. So yeah, I'd say A tier like for sure. He's like the highest A tier on here, I'd say. Alright, now we have Nathan Drake. Again, really big character, you know, Uncharted, like PlayStation, all that. That's their biggest selling game of, I think it was I don't know if it still is, but at one point Uncharted was like their biggest selling series. Nathan Drake's obviously really huge, really well known character. I wouldn't say he's S tier, but I'd say he's definitely up there with A tier as well for me. Just like impact on gaming, I'm a big fan of his character personally, and I think he's definitely A tier for sure. Alright, now we have Joel from The Last of Us. Now, me personally, I never got into The Last of Us. I know he's huge, but I personally preferred like the Walking Dead Telltale games over The Last of Us. But I don't know, like I don't think he's A. He's definitely not S. I'd say I don't think he's C though. Like C, it would be stretching. I'd say B. I'd say he's a solid B tier for sure. He could probably get up to A tier. I don't know. I feel like Last of Us hasn't been too great as of now. It used to be huge, but I don't know if it's as up there as it used to be anyway. But no, Joel's definitely solid B tier for sure. All right, now we have Rayman, really big character as well. I don't think it's fair to put him at A tier though. Like he's a really big character. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's quite A tier level. I'd say B tier for sure. He's almost at A, but like nah. Like I mean, I don't know. I never really got into the Rayman games personally. I know he's a big character, and I've seen him appear in cameos of other games as well. Yeah, like Rayman's definitely a good B tier for me. All right, now we have we got one of the Rabbids. Yeah, I think we know where this guy is going. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, now we have Edward Kemway, huge Assassin's Creed fan. I play those games all the time. I've played Syndicate, Unity, Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3. I haven't touched Odyssey yet, just because I haven't got around to it. But no, I am a big Assassin's Creed fan, and Edward Kemway's huge. He's obviously the biggest Assassin's Creed character there is. Don't think he's quite S tier. He's up there too. Like I'd say Kratos was almost there. He's almost at S tier as well. But no, I'd say Edward Kemway is definitely a good A tier. Assassin's Creed is huge. Obviously now it's starting to kind of fall out. But no, Assassin's Creed is a huge franchise. Definitely A tier, like without a doubt. Alright, now we have Banjo-Kazooie. Now, people always compare Banjo-Kazooie and Crash Bandicoot. I personally like Banjo-Kazooie a lot better. Like he's been a much bigger part of like nostalgia and like gaming for me personally. I love his games. I went back and played like the original Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. Like they're really good games. We don't talk about Nuts and Bolts, obviously. Like that was but Banjo-Kazooie, definitely a huge character. I guess Banjo, I mean, they're not really showing Kazooie much, but no, Banjo's definitely up there for me. And obviously it's a mix of my personal opinion and impact. But no, I'm gonna say Banjo's actually S. Now that might surprise a lot of people, but Banjo-Kazooie for me is like just such a solid piece of like gaming. I think he definitely gets ahead of the people in A tier. Not because like it might be a bit biased, but like Banjo-Kazooie for me is always just like he's just fun to see, if that makes sense. Like you gotta like you love Banjo-Kazooie. Like he's obviously not too big. Like there are a lot of series that are a lot bigger than him, but Banjo-Kazooie for me personally as a character, I think he deserves S tier. All right, now we have Conker. I think he started off as like a Sonic character. Like he's been in Sonic racing games as well, but no, he's actually branched off and has done his own things before, like Conker's Bad Fur Day, that R-rated old school Nintendo type of game. Like I loved Conker's Bad Fur Day. I thought that game was hilarious. And Conker, he's a pretty decent character. Obviously now he's not too big. He's definitely above C for me. I'd say B tier for sure. He's there with Rayman, Crash. Like Conker is a pretty decently sized character. And yeah, I'd say B tier for sure.